Hey guys, how are we going? Back again for another review. I wasn't planning on doing this, but it's almost been a year since I did that last video on the Nike Maxfly, my initial thoughts and comparison. I hadn't even been on the track yet, but I was just so excited to wear it, and obviously a lot of people were trying to get their hands on it, so I thought I'd do a video maybe to convince some people. And over the last year, I've still getting video comments to this day asking questions on the Nike Maxfly. And I thought, well, while I'm getting all these questions still, I may as well do another one where I've got a bit more information, a few more thoughts, all those kinds of things about the Spike itself, and hopefully give you a bit more of an updated version, and then we can maybe talk about a few other things as well. So from that video, these are the spikes from that video. A solid 11 months of training, races, all those kinds of things. And these spikes have held up pretty well. Obviously, it's a little bit different when you compare it to the brand new spikes out of the box. I actually bought 2 pairs at the time because, obviously they were hard to get their hands on and I didn't know what they were going to be like. So I took a bit of a gamble, and what paid off is that, I still got a brand new pair in this original color, which is pretty cool. And I've still got the SPs in this video, just to give you guys a bit of a reference and just to talk again as well. But no, I'm pretty happy with that. So I guess probably one of the most common questions I get is like, oh, how do the spikes compare in sizes? And to be completely honest with you, if you've worn Nike shoes before, just get the same Nike size that you normally would. If you're wearing 9.5, get a 9.5. That's what I do. In joggers, sometimes it's maybe a 10 if I want my foot to feel a bit more spaced out, but they run pretty true to size. So if you're gonna just get your normal size. Have any thoughts changed on this spike? No, not really. I guess in the first video, we were pretty excited and we haven't seen too much. I think they don't give quite as much as what some people might say. Like some people put them on and they're like, yes, like I ran like a 0.2 of a second PB, but I don't think that's really there was more to it than just that, than just the shoe itself. Interestingly enough, there's actually a couple athletes, like really notable fast athletes, like Chris Royster. He trains with Stu McMillan at Altus. He ran slower with the Maxflies because he didn't like the space. He didn't have as much tactile feedback because you've got all this foam here. You've got that little bubble underneath the shoe, and you've got a really stiff plate. So you don't actually have as much contact with the ground. So some people actually even run slower in these spikes because they're so different than that regular spike with just that thin carbon plate, right? So some things have changed in that, they probably don't give you quite as much, but I think, if you run a certain way and you have good technique and you know how to use the spikes, I think they can give you, maybe probably 0.1 of a second sounds reasonable, maybe 0.15, but I think, 0.05 to 0.1 of a second, which, don't get me wrong, is more than enough to make a difference in running a PB, winning a race, winning the Olympics, who knows. But I think also if you don't like the spike, or if you don't like the feeling, well, you're not going to run faster anyway, as shown by Chris Royster. Another thing on the spike is their durability has been called into question. Luckily enough, I don't know if I've been lucky or, I don't know, maybe I just look after my spikes or I got a good pair, is that these have lasted multiple sessions 3 times a week in races. I know some people who in one training session, after 3 reps, the bubble popped, both sides. There is that is probably a con of the spike. And if you are, stretching to pay $250 for this pair of spike and you don't want to run that risk of popping it, well, maybe don't get them and go for the Superflies. But, Nike, from everyone I've spoken to, Nike has given a refund, or, Rebel Sport or whoever the company is has given a refund if the bubble is popped, if you return them. So, or you will get a new pair if that does happen. That is a consideration to have. The foam seems to hold up fairly well where it matters anyway, through the midfoot and on the toes. It will compress a little bit, but like any shoe, that is going to happen. But still, the pros to this shoe is, like I said, these have lasted me 9, 10, 11 months worth of racing on the track as well. I really like them as a spike. They're super awesome. The upper is really comfortable. Unlike the Superfly Elite 2s, which you've probably seen, or some of you if you've worn them, that knitted mesh upper isn't quite as nice on the foot. So I do like this upper that's a bit softer, a bit better. And it feels like it can mold to your foot a bit more, and it's also more comfortable if you don't wear socks, which I don't wear socks when I race. You know, and another thing that I kind of like, that I find interesting, is I actually like the sound that these spikes give when they run on the track. I'll put a clip in this race now where you can hear me running. So yeah, as you can hear from the video, it's a bit of a different sound, and I really like it. So, you know, these are all things that ties into the spike that you know that you like, or feedback that you have while you're racing. So all in all, that I think these spikes do give maybe 0.1 of a second if you really like them and you know how to use them, and you run a good way and your technique is good, of course. They can take away, and you know, their durability is called into question with some people. But all in all, these are fantastic spike. They've come out with some extra new colorways that look really cool. Obviously they're good because nearly everyone wears them. All the Olympic champ, like, you know, Elaine Thompson and Marcel Jacobs wore them. And even the 400 guys, like, you know, good 400 guys have worn them as well. And obviously it's the way this technologies are changing, because Puma have a similar one, Adidas have a similar shape. So yeah, it's really interesting, and I just thought I'd give you guys a nice follow-up video. And like I said, they are pretty unique in that they do have quite a high cut angle on the plate. You can see them compared to the Adidas Prime SP, that they are at the same angle, and Prime SPs are usually quite aggressive. The plate is stiff, the bubble should last, you're probably unlucky if it doesn't. They run true to size, and all in all, they're a great shoe. Thanks guys for tuning in, number 2. If you've got more questions, I'll probably put it in another video, but here's my updated review and thoughts of this Nike Maxfly spike.